everyone, it's Kerry back with you today. So I'm sharing the first video in our new series called Quickie with Kerry, and as the name suggests, they're just going to be quick little projects or techniques of things that you might want to make if you've lost your mojo, or perhaps you're a beginner, or perhaps you just want something that you can sit down and mass make. So today we're going to be making the easiest faux lined envelope. I'll also be showing you a quick and easy way to create these windows in your envelopes without having to measure every time. For today's project, I'm using a piece of A4 paper. This is just regular copy paper that I've printed on one side. You'll also notice that I've got a white border around the edge. If your printer prints borderless, you can use that as well. And if you're in the States or somewhere else where you don't use A4 paper, just use whatever paper you would normally put in your copier. So to begin with, I'm just going to turn my page into a portrait orientation, and I'm going to fold up one edge about 1.5 centimetres. Then I'm going to turn my paper round and I'm going to fold up about another 5 centimetres or 2 inches. Then I'm going to turn our page around back to this short side, and I'm going to fold this up so we're overlapping by about 3/4 centimetre, or about 1/2 inch. So I'm leaving myself about 3 centimetres here. So I'm just going to bring in some glue paper now, and I'm going to open up my envelope. I'm just going to run some glue, I'm just using glue stick, down the edge of this short flap. I'm just going to close that up. And then I'm going to turn my page around and glue closed the larger flap as well. So once I've done that, I want to create my envelope flap. So I'm going to turn my page around again, and I'm going to leave a small gap, probably about 1/2 centimetre or 1/4 inch, when I fold over this flap. So that means when I open this, I've got a little bit of space before the inside flap here. So that's the basic structure of our envelope, and now I just want to tidy it up by getting rid of these white edges. So I'm just using a paper trimmer, but you could use a craft knife or a pair of scissors. If you wanted to, you could pop a small little divot in the top there of the envelope. But now all we need to do is put some glue along the edge of our flap, or you could stitch it if you prefer. And that gives us our faux lined envelope there. So if you want to make an envelope with a window in it, I found a really quick and easy way to do it without having to constantly measure is to make a template. So here I have a template which I've created just out of some thick card. To make my template, I have used the measurements of the width of my paper before I cut anything off. So I'm using A4 paper, which is 21 centimetres wide. If you're using letter paper, you'll need to measure the width of your paper, which I think is 8.5, and cut a piece of card to that same size, same width. And then you also want your template to be approximately 1/3 of the length of your paper. So again, A4 paper is 297 millimetres tall, which is 29.7 centimetres. So I've cut this at about 10 centimetres tall. I've then created a window in my template by measuring it up to where I thought it looked good. Now if you have your template off to the side, you can always turn your template over and then use it on each side, depending on where you'd like your window to be. So once I've created my envelope up to this point, so I've folded in and glued down my flaps, and then I've folded my crease and my final flap, I'm going to open my envelope back up, and I'm going to line up my template with the crease. I can then take a pen and just draw around the inside of my template. And I know that this is where I need to cut my window out. Now remember, if you're working on the back, once you turn it over, the window will be on the opposite side. So if you want your window on a certain side, you'll need to make sure that you're marking it correctly on the inside. Alternatively, you can just fold up your envelope, lay your template over the top, and mark on the front of your envelope where you would like your window to be. You'll just need to make sure when you're cutting, you cut just above or to the side of the line that you've made so it doesn't show or rub it out afterwards. So now I've got my lines marked on here. I don't need to measure anything. I just need to make sure that I'm cutting close to those lines. So now I have my window in my envelope, and I'm going to go ahead and line that with some glassine. So I'm just using some glue stick around the edge of the window on the inside. Trimming off my white edges. And then I can go ahead and glue my envelope shut. Just taking my corner rounder to round the corners of the flap. And there we go, that's our little faux lined envelope with a little window in the front there. So once you've created your window envelope, it's really up to you how much embellishing you do. So I chose to stitch around this one, and I've just popped a little butterfly sticker on there. Whereas this one I've used some stickers and also some stamping just to create a bit of a collage on my envelope there. So I hope you enjoyed that first episode of our Quickie with Kerry series. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you again next time. Bye.